guys, the snowball effect of modifying cars, it happened. So to get you guys caught up to speed, I was modifying the car the other day off camera because I figured that what I was doing wasn't significant enough. And then it turned out to be very significant and a massive overhaul project that I can film for you guys. I haven't torn this side apart yet, so you can get an understanding of what I did and why I did it. Turns out that the body, it started smacking the lip of the wheel about 2 feet into starting to drive the car down the driveway. And I realized if this is project daily and I'm trying to go somewhere with this thing in the future, hundreds of miles, thousands of miles, I want to be able to drive there in comfort and I want to be able to make it. So in that desire, I decided it was time to throw shocks back in the car because I had taken the shocks out because the inner barrel was hitting the shocks. Due to the shocks mounting location and all the camber I was running, I was no longer even mounting the shock to the hub assembly itself. I had moved the location to this bracket I had made on the controller. I chopped out some of the structure, added some structure back in through the top, and I had used this piece of metal to mount the shock to directly. And well, with the new fitment that I was running, this wasn't even good enough. So I put this in there and I forgot to drill a hole. So I'm like, my God. So I undid this bolt, I dropped control arm, and usually when you undo this bolt, it's supposed to still sit there because the rubber bushing has rigidity to it. But as soon as I dropped that bolt, control arm also dropped, and I realized that this bushing was no longer even sitting in there and it was just jumping around. And if that's like that, you're not able to hold an alignment and your control arm's kind of just dancing around underneath the car while you're driving, which is not good. So that brings me to this, which is today's video, which is the construction of my new Heim joint arms. Previously in the past, I extended these arms on this end, which is great, but on this end, we are going to be deleting this rubber mount, get that out of there. I'm going to chop this, block this, and then weld this bung right to it. And this is Teflon lined, which means that this spherical bushing right here isn't gonna move at all. Like you could see, it's solid, it's not going anywhere, versus the rubber, it has all that room to squish and play. And when you're running all this tilt, that stuff is so bad. I made a post about this on my Instagram. I was like, oh guys, I'm gonna be running Heim joints, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is gonna be so bad. I've already run this. V1 was on this. V1 held an alignment like a boss. V1 felt amazing. V1 went the speed limit and cruised straight as a dime. So I'm gonna do that again. The first thing I need to do before I chop this out is actually put this back into place. That looks perfect. I just measured this center hole to center hole. We got 2 feet and 5/8, and these are adjustable. And by eye, I am going to decide to cut this right about here. There is a chamfer on this, so I have to equate that in. So I'm gonna have that measurement go to that edge. So when I drill this hole, this is gonna be sitting on it, and then that weld is going to fill in the chamfer. I don't measure much. So I got the measuring tape for dummies. All the fractions are in there. If you want to pick one of these up, I'll have it linked. It'll help your measurements. I took the stock bolt, I put it through the stock bushing, and then I put the Heim joint on that, put a little bit of tape. The whole thing's pretty firm. Once I chop this end off, it'll be the exact length meeting up to the chamfer. We'll be able to drill a hole into this metal, weld it all together, and we'll retain that stock length that I wanted to start with, just so I have an idea of what's going on. And in the future, if I ever want to extend these, you can just spin, 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 and really extend this arm out. Well, there's no going back with this one. Awesome, clean as can be. If you did not believe that I cut that straight, you could see it now, baby. Gonna get ready to mark this out so I can have all this be the perfect shape. I'm even gonna make it nice and round at the bottom. It's gonna be seamless, it's gonna be OEM plus. Got it rounded out. I didn't film the creation of this, but all I gotta say is, damn. Up on the outside, a little bit of flux core on the inside. Now it's time to drill a hole into the end of this to put the Heim joint in. Yes, dude. As you can see, there's that chamfer in there. It's sat down on that. It's not able to go any lower, and I'll be able to weld into that and really get these two to bind together. That's literally crazy. I've been wanting to do that since I extended this side, but man, that's crazy. Good morning. It's snowing in April. I got the root pass and the chamfer last night, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back over this and I'm gonna cap it off with another weld. Got the cap all welded up, not too shabby, not my best, not my worst. I got this little end cap that was actually on the top here yesterday. I cut that off, and now I'm gonna plate the top here for more structure.
I'm gonna weld this up for you hard-working Americans.
Wait till I get my money right. So I got this arm all welded up. I'm stoked on it. The last thing I want to do before I mount this back into the car, because she's ready to go, 1, paint it, but 2, fix the shock mount. The shock mount is the whole reason that we're even here. Well, we're here because this bushing failed, but I wouldn't have known unless I messed this up. Yeah, that was thrown in there with precision. This all used to be one continuous hoop. With me now putting this in here, I'm kind of adding the hoop back in, especially with it being angle iron. It has that strong corner edge. And then the spring bucket actually has this little dowel right here. I can center that up, put my 3/2/6 4-inch spring right in there, and I can actually see how close I can get to the spring, and I can get really close in there. The plan for once it's all together, hopefully to sit something like this. I'm gonna weld a nut here so I won't have to hold anything from the backside. So I'll be able to remove the shock while this is still all together. Well, the Teflon and the thread caught on fire and I wasn't videoing it, So essentially, once this is in the car, this is what the bracket's gonna look like on the bottom. This is gonna slide right in there. And the nut, since it's welded on there now, it's gonna be nice and far away from the spring in the spring bucket, and it's gonna look like this. So I just cut some more angle iron and I made these little footings so that the base of this mount won't be able to swing when everything's all welded up, and give it that rigidity it needs at the bottom. I would like to cap all that off, but I don't know how like forever this mount is gonna be, so it's almost just like a test. This little thing's pretty sweet. I got it tacked up for now, just so I can keep putting it in and out and find out what it needs to be. But it's about that time where I'm gonna weld these little feet on here solid, and then I'll be able to weld the feet to the bottom.
I've been on ghosts as a kid. Now I got house full of kids. Where I keep when you're sick. Keep making that money flip. I've been on ghosts as a kid. Now I got house full of kids. Where I keep when you're sick.
Bro, sanding this has me practicing for the first day OD.
Keep making that money flip. Way up. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. That went way up. Bend that mouse to feed. I pray that check flow stay.
Wow. That actually came out pretty good. I'm not totally stoked on using flux core, but this mount looks way better than I expected it to. I put this waste bolt in there so the threads wouldn't get messed up when the spatter from the flux core was going on. Yeah, this thing actually looks sick.
Yeah. All of my bros, they been my bros. I'm talking day one. I'm talking day one. Yeah, yeah. Been at, boys. Me and my bros do road, no keys, no deal. We been at.
Gosh, this high end is so beautiful. I had to finish painting it on camera without the time lapse. I'm not stoked about painting it, but happens.
Been at checks. Me and my bros trust God on God. I swear we been at next. I've been on ghosts as a kid. Now I got house full of kids. Where I keep when you're sick. Keep making that money flip.
Well, it's painted. Oh my gosh, dude, this thing looks so sick. I guess this is just like a testament. If you think of it, you plan it a little bit, you can do it. So my plan of attack for this is super simple. I'm just gonna throw this up in there. I don't have any misalignment spacers to center the heim up, so I'm actually gonna steal the sleeve right out of this bushing, and I'm gonna cut it in half to center this. Aha, I see. I do have 1/2-inch misalignment spacers, but they're not worthy of this build. This thing has to be chopped.
Whoa.
I don't know, that looks pretty sick to me. Looks ready to go back in the car to me.
Here, sure, yeah, why not? Watch me struggle. If only you saw the position I was in right now. Oh, ow, ow.
I hate that bolt so much, but we're in there. Those misalignment spacers that I made, perfectly aligned. The half moons are in there. And what's really cool about this, and why I really want to do the heim, besides the fact that it no longer has no in and out play, it can go side to side and swivel and do all those cool, great things which the other arm couldn't do. And also, I could spin this arm to elongate it. I can bring this arm out another inch just by spinning it. That is so cool. That's my favorite part about it. I had to undo basically everything, but one of the really nice things about the toe arms that I made is it's all-star thread with all-star heims. So it's a super solid toe arm. And then same idea as this, it's got a heim joint in there, no rubber bushings. And eventually I want to get another 5/8 heim to thread into this and really just eliminate as much rubber from the rear as possible. And then one day replace the trailing arm with a spherical bushing. We're just gonna do it all up and we're gonna do it right eventually. And we're taking the right steps now. Since I put all that back together, it has crazy toe in. So all I have to do on this all-star, all-thread toe arm that I made is just move it counterclockwise, and eventually it'll pull out about a whole inch and straighten our wheel out. Got my 326/80 case back in. I eliminated the rubber mount at the bottom and at the top. I took the locking rings plastic insert for now just to protect the paint up top. But my theory is to get like a thin nylon sheet and cut them out so that all the surfaces that are metal that are gonna be touching together and moving won't eat through each other. It's just a theory right now, but if any of you static people just run metal on metal and don't have issues, let me know. And if you do anything differently, let me know. I'm learning what I should do here and get rid of all that squish and all that movement. And I think I'm heading in the right direction. The most exciting part of all. Oh, that shock is gonna look so good in there. Dude, I am the master. It's so funny because I know for anyone watching this is so insignificant for you to watch me just spin a bolt in. But the fact that I don't have to hold anything from the backside, that it's all welded up, and that this is just gonna mount right in here and be so much more solid than it was. Oh, I literally spent 35 minutes trying to get this out last time with the other mount. This is where it used to mount. That's where it's mounting now. And then those two bolts up there. Oh my God. Dude, imagine I had a cameraman. The content would be epic. I'd imagine this dust shield's not gonna last long, but that's as close as I'm willing to go to the body with the shock. I've had friends relocate the shock completely to the trunk, which I could do, but man, that's super close. That's super strong. Oh. Make a plan and execute it. Tire sticker still on the tire. Over 1,000 miles traveled on this tire. And we still got that sticker, baby. So you know you got big tilt. But gotta angle it in there just to get it on. Oof. Let's go, baby. No rubbish. No rubbish and a lot of tuckage. Let's go. I'm so stoked right now. All you hear right now is the brake rotor on the pads. Now, I'd imagine that we are pretty close in here as well, but we're not hitting. Easy enough, we are not hitting the shock. Let's go, baby. The way I have that set up is that the lip of the wheel is actually over the top of the shock body itself, and it's just barely clearing the piston. We're making stuff work. But you can see we've actually got some room. Like I told you, that dust shield is not going to last long, but the wheel is not actually coming in contact with the shock, which is amazing. Before, it was completely hitting it. couldn't run it. Now I've got a bunch of room. I could go in a little bit more on the tilt. We aren't hitting the gas filler neck, which is massive, but one of the things that I was thinking about doing, if it does come in contact with it, if I do decide to actually tuck, we are going to have to either put the tank in the trunk, get a full fuel cell, be all legit, or since the fuel filler neck line is thick plastic, we can heat that up and we can actually push it in and get about that much of it to go in because it's pretty thick. So we have options. I would like to go with the second one because it's easier and I can still retain my stock filler neck, but who knows, it's a TDI. I'll only be filling up every 600 miles, which is basically once a year. I'd imagine y'all want to see this thing go on the ground, so. Oh, no, yo, the other day when I did this, no way, I wasn't tucking the other day. I was not tucking the other day, and then, oh, wow, this is crazy. Yo, this is actually crazy. The toe was different the other day, and the body was sitting on the lip of the wheel. Yo, this is crazy. I could run more tilt, you guys saw that. If I run another, like, 2 or 3 degrees, I'll be almost at like -20, because right now it's at -17. I could be almost at like -20 and tucking. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Here are the current results. Oof, I literally just took a $100 bill out of my wallet. I would have stuck that thing in there, but I spent it on stuff for this video. So I'm broke, but yeah. We gotta do a balance test with this now that we have shocked here. Because ever since I put the 80Ks in, I haven't been running a rear shock. And, well, that's just a must see it. Dude, that's so much stiffer. Still bounces a ton because there's no shock on that side, but, oh, dude, it's hitting the body on that side. But, dude, I didn't even get to feel what it felt like with the shock, like, ever. And the shock plays a big part. I'm going to hit up BC, and I'm going to get a corner replacement. Maybe I'll have them valve them to 80K if they'll do that. Stance car. Guys, this is big for the channel. We're doing custom parts again. We're welding again. Do I want to tuck? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm on 80Ks. I'm on 80Ks for the specific reason of wanting to be that fender to lip fitment like I am in the front. So icy, but let me know what you guys think. Tell me how my welding skills were. I really enjoyed making this type of content, like I'm creating again. I have to do the other side, but I'm not gonna make that you guys watch that again. I'm gonna do it on my own time. I'm gonna have fun with it. And if there's any mods you guys wanna see me do on this car, just drop them down in the comments and I'll try to get to it because I'm gonna try to make the best content for you guys. So if you enjoy this, throw it a like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And I love y'all. Peace. Oh, wait, if you stayed this long, comment big tilt so I know you stayed this long. Peace.